Oh, it finally happened. No viewers. I think. I can't tell. The stats aren't showing for me, but that's fine. I'm not looking at that. Um, that's cool. I got game dev to. Do this. Actually, maybe better to use a node for this one. And then put it in here, call this attack. And then we'll call this one basic attack. We'll call it slash attack, actually. Attacks that use a sword will do that, do a very specific type thing. Can I change this to be... No, I guess not. Can I just get a shape? No, I guess I can just... In the case of this, just do visible collision path shapes and for that. Area 2D. And then add the collision shape here. All right, that's fine. In this case, it'd probably be better to instantiate it, but we will not do that. For anyone who has stumbled into a game dev stream, hello. I'm making a G. Let me get my controller. And I am currently in the process of building the battle scene. You can have the character walk around. I have a custom full screen. I haven't done anything beyond this. And we have a text system, which includes cutscene functionality. I can do cutscenes, even without that, through the dialogue manager which is a plugin I downloaded. And yeah, currently I am working on the battle. And so what I aim to do is we're going to create 3 circles here, but basically the idea is that when you attack, it will, like an icon will fly across the screen, and if you press it just in the middle, it will do some bonus damage. If it does it outside, it just does the normal damage. And then I will create different variations of types of attacks, and then those will be the, what did I call them, powers. So we're going with that, basically. That's the aim. If there's any questions, if anyone is there, don't hesitate to say. But for me, this is just mostly a chill stream. I am deliberately doing this so I can focus. Well, I've set my local there we go, back to normal. Yeah, I will also load up another project. Magician's Thief will have the code I need for this thing I want to do, basically. Was it loading? Why are you loading so long? Oh, that's why it's loading a lot of things. I don't need a Estes. I need the bullet code. More specifically, the player bullet. There we go. So we're going to create at a later point. I'm probably just gonna have to instantiate these instead of actually keeping them all like in a nested like this, because it might get annoying, especially if I have a lot of types of attacks. So if I'm doing something basic, maybe, but as I'm planning to do a lot, is probably gonna build up. So what I'll probably do is get the first attack working, and then what I'm going to do is probably change it so it can instantiate rather than nesting all the types of attacks and calling it. So that's the process I am saying to myself out loud, so I know what to do. We'll do a color rect here, and then I'll do my sprite stuff outside of the streams because sprite work takes forever. I might do a stream on the pixel art stuff, but that aspect is very slow. What should I call this? Attack point. And then we can attach a script attack point to that. No, we'll put this script actually on here. No, we'll keep it in there. And then I'm just, this is the bit where I have to think for 5 minutes, because if I don't do this correctly, So what I want to do is move this across here, but I don't want to just do the more simple way. I need to do this. It becomes much easier. I mean, I'm basically doing what the Undertale attack, isn't it? Because in Undertale, when you attack it's like it moves across, and then I hit enter or whatever button, it does the damage. What I'll probably do is when I attack, I'll bring the sprite to the middle of the screen, the enemy sprite, and then do the attack there. Also might touch up the UI again at a later point. I think it's okay, but I'm not satisfied with it. I don't like it at the moment. I definitely prefer my UI over that. Oh, hello Eric, welcome. I'm having a good day. I've just decided to do an impromptu stream just to lock myself into doing coding, so no pressure if you don't want to stick around and whatnot. It's mostly just to tell me, okay, I can't open up other tabs, I can't watch random episodes or something, I can't get distracted. Plus I also find that I do make progress when I stream making games, so I'm enjoying that. I hope you're having a good day too though. It's not hot anymore, so that's one thing I like. That goes... Probably gonna lurk and listen. Okay, cool. I'll basically be reading my thoughts out loud. That is pretty much most of this stream. I'll be doing it for 2 to 3 hours. I would say just under 3 hours because that's when my bedtime is. Also, I want to get up early so I can play Uma Musume. Because that game is out. You can download it now, and it officially comes out at midnight in the UK. Wait, that's something I gotta do. I'm gonna message my sister and tell her that Uma Musume comes out. Had a good but unproductive day. I feel that. Well, my work wasn't unproductive so much as it was more boring. And I consider it unproductive in terms of my end goal and my dreams and aspirations. I might do a stream of it tomorrow. It depends. I need to like double check. But I don't know if a stream is warranted for a mobile game. I still have my stance on every gacha game having its ups and downs, even as much as I love Uma Musume. But it is a fun game, and I'd probably like to showcase a bit of it. It's just wild to me that we're getting a Steam client version of the thing and an English release at the same time. I know a friend who works at Cygames who has been working on that project a long time. And I'm kind of excited to see his hard work pay off. And I better write him a congratulations message and drop it to him. It'll be super good. It's gonna be really good. How do I center this? Let me... Probably better if I change this type to a control, just briefly. Oh wait, no, that doesn't work. What am I doing? The wiper. It's fine. I'll use some code to center the collision thing, as opposed to just trying to here. Let me just double check the code for that, Google. 2D get sent. Yeah, okay, I got the code for it. I think that still works on the current version of Godot. Yeah, it should be alright. No, I guess not. I didn't do that. I guess at least with this, I'm just trying to think where to put it. I don't want to put it into the attack data. I want to do... Okay, for this one, we'll attach a script to type slash. And what we'll probably do is when we choose the attack, we will instantiate set attack in this node. And every single type of attack will have its own script with its own set of rules. So in this case, but they'll have similar values. Like, I don't know, they will all use the same function called attack function. And inside that attack function varies for each of the attack I use. So we got here battle. I'm gonna create a new folder here and call that attacks. I'm gonna call this, type slash. Yeah, let's call it attack slash. And then change this one. Attack slash. And now this... Yeah, I guess I won't reuse the attack point everywhere. I'll just use the same. Here. And we'll have like on ready bar attack point. And the attack point will be that. Point ready, attack point. Our attack speed. So attack speed basically is the... What I'm gonna do is grab this. Actually, yeah, let's keep it in physics process for that one. The idea will be that alright, so that's how it works. No. Attack point dot global position x. Yeah, I guess x is fine, and then it would equal speed x delta. Now speed isn't defined, so we gotta define speed here. Export of our speed equals 10. I think that's gonna move awfully slow. Let's just test that. Yeah, as you can see there, it's moving embarrassingly slow. It's not doing anything right now, so let's change it to 20 speed delta. That's supposed to be physics process. Let's change it to 40. I just want to see what happens here. That's not right. Am I imagining it? Let's just change this a second. We're just gonna do something dumb. Well, I mean, I gotta do this anyway, so let me just give me a second. Just create a square. Draw. Attack point. That'd be in UI. No, this will be in a new folder. Call it battle. And then new folder. Attack /. I wonder if it'll be the same. I don't know. Basically, what I'm gonna do is type the sprite. We'll probably move that in there. Attack point will be reused. And that we shrunk. Now let's see what that looks like. Oh, okay, yeah, okay, that was right. You don't... I was thinking, why was it moving or like jittering? And I think it's because you can't... Let me double check. I'm gonna have to consult the books for this one. Godot 2D control node physics. Anyway, yeah, no, this is the way I should be doing it, regardless. Basically, it was jittering, and it was because I was using a control node, which they did not like. Let's change this to 36. I'm gonna save that. Okay. Let's make it a... Yeah, but because it's on a 2D node, 2D nodes are used for, you know, the player character and all that, like physics and whatnot. The physics process works better with that, from my understanding. And I was using a rectangle color, which was a part of the control node, the UI stuff basically. And I don't think I was supposed to use that together. It didn't like it. I don't know if that's actually conveyed on stream, just looking at it here. Right. Speed will be set to 0. So the idea I've got here is that maybe an enemy can use a status effect on you and it speeds up your attack, or it causes your attack to jump, or some jump random speeds. I don't know. I'm thinking a bit too far ahead. Let's take it back and just do the thing. Func attack. And I think what we'll also do on ready var default position equals global position. So we got an attack function and a reset function. The global position equals default position. So when we're done, it will teleport back. So now what we gotta do, let me just close everything else out the way. Yeah, so if I press that, it will do the end battle thing. We don't want that, we want to call the attack. How am I going to do this? Let me think. All right. What we will do. Actually, I want to just test if the reset works first. I don't know if that actually works. Oh wait, no, I can't test it. Because I won't be able to right away. That's fine. Just print attack. Baby steps. That's kind of the other thing for me, is that I always go small steps before jumping into it. So I don't write a whole bunch of code and then test it. I think about the process in tiny chunks. So we don't end the battle. If battle starts, then yeah, we end the battle after. We don't need to call end battle yet. So what we'll do? How do I call the attack slash? That's the thing that's on my mind right now. I think for now we're gonna attacks. And we'll make a comment here, delete after attack slash. So my idea would be, instead of this, we're just going to directly call the attack slash instead of doing the planning ahead bit. Yeah, so I just want to know dot attack there. And so what should happen is that when I press the button, nothing will happen, but a message will come up. Yeah, in the corner there. Attack, 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 attack. Perfect. Now I need to clean up like all of this at some point, so I will do that off stream. Clean up afterwards. But probably do it tomorrow morning, to be honest. I am tired. And it's only 7:30. Okay. So we want to do is attacking, and our home ready, so our is attacking equals false. The reason for that is and isn't attacking. So until that is done, it doesn't do anything. I think what I will also do does the player have this code? I'm trying to remember. I want to get the battle data and then call it. Which code did I have? That one will do. Yeah, I always forget how to type this code. I feel like an idiot sometimes. Yo, just popping in to say hi. I should really try to go back to sleep though. My yawning probably doesn't help. Welcome, Cole. That's no problem. Go back to sleep if you need to. This is just a chill stream. I said it. I'll say it. I mean, yeah, these types of streams are very impromptu. I'm just trying out a thing this week. But basically, a lot of it's just me forcing myself to do this in a way that makes me go, okay, if I'm streaming this, I have to not open up different tabs or get distracted. So this is my way of saying I'm locking in to do my work. This is my work stream. So mostly just me speaking my thoughts out loud. Let me get that battle. Oh wait, that's not what I'm trying to do. That is battle data. You want to put it? I need to put it here. Battle data. Oh, actually, I got a Uma Musume on my coffee this morning, and I instantly thought of you. You know, I am extremely excited because I have it here on my desktop, fully downloaded. I'm ready to go. So I might do a stream of it tomorrow, but I'll be playing lots of it in the morning when I wake up, whilst I'm at work, because I have a job. So I probably won't get as much time as I want. Actually, I probably could get up early and do an hour before I go to work. But no, I'll do a stream maybe later that day. We'll see. But otherwise, there'll also be a morning stream for a change on a Friday, since I booked that day off. As I just do. Panel data. Yeah, okay, so when the attacks... Oh, yeah, sorry, I waffled my brain. Yeah, I'm excited to play Uma Musume. If you haven't done so, you can open the game up, and you can download the entire game. Because the game is small at first on the Steam downloader or on your phone. But you need to open the game. And I think it's click the right corner button. Oh wait, no. You can click start and it will download the game. But there's an extra download. So it's like 5 gigabytes the game, and then there's a secret other 5 gigabytes of the game you can download if you click the hamburger icon, I think it's called, in the bottom right corner, and it gives you an option to download everything. And that stuff is usually reserved for if you unlock a character or you roll a character, it downloads all their character models and whatnot. It's mostly there for mobile games specifically to save space, but they also included that in the Steam version. I replied to your tweet with a coffee bit. Oh, okay, let's take a looky. Oh, you got Boss Coffee. Yeah, you're... so... And you have Duramente Coffee. He appears in the 3rd season of Uma Musume. And I don't think we get her for like a couple of years before she gets added to the English version of the game. I'm gonna reply, yo, in caps. Boss Coffee. I can't drink coffee. I always forget. I have issues with my health, which I can't take caffeine. But I do get envious when I see some good old... Oh, that's nice looking coffee, I'll give you that. Thank you for sending that. Yeah, I'll do a new Musume stream tomorrow. I think that seems like it's going to happen now. End battle. That's so cool. I sort of hope you would recognize her. I know. I checked because a friend was asking for. I was talking to a friend who doesn't really like gacha games in general, and I was like, okay, I'll give some tips about this game. Because I think this is a better game than most of the gachas out there. Primarily because you get enough content for all the stuff you get at the start of the game. Yeah, and I looked at the banners for the upcoming Uma Musume's over the next 4 to 5 years. I think it's 4 years the game's been out for. And I was saying the benefit of an English version of the game is that we're a few years behind and we're able to plan ahead. And it's the tactic I use for Blue Archive. It's why I actually really enjoy Blue Archive, is because having all that time ahead in Japanese version is so useful, and being able to plan and not spend any money at all. I haven't spent any money on Blue Archive except for once, which was the starter pack, and that was because I played enough of it to the point that I said, you know what? I will treat myself and buy a welcome pack, give the game my money. So to me, that was like essentially purchasing the game in some way. I've never had the desire since. Uma Musume is going to be in a similar boat. Anyway, my point was, I looked at year 4. I recognized most of the horse girls from year 1 to half of the 3rd year. Anything that point onwards, I was a bit lost. Partly because there was no anime or content revolving around the new horse girls, so it was hard for me to pay attention to. And I stopped playing the Japanese version a year and a half ago. Partly because I just didn't understand it, and it was taking too much of my time. I should be good for this one though, hopefully. But I'll have a little more planning and thinking ahead in the future. Right. We have battle data. Battle data is attacking. We can turn that off. Basically, is attacking equals a false sum. What I do is grab battle data. I totally relate to that. I'll do the same, like buying just a single skin in a first-person shooter games that are free. Oh, yeah. No, that's actually fair. Yeah, I guess the example I immediately comes to mind when it comes to shooting games is like Fortnite. That's third-person shooter. But yeah, I get that. Yeah, that's how I feel. That's how I handle gachas. If the gacha game is too insidious and in my face, like I'm not a fan of Genshin Impact, and Honkai, I like that game a lot, and I got lucky with my rolls. I rolled a healer, and so I was able to enjoy that game. But those games are quite annoying about shoving that stuff in my face. Whereas like Blue Archive, I think when you boot up the game, it'll tell you which characters are out on the new banner, and then that's it. If you wanted to, you can click in the section for that and then choose to, but the game doesn't force you to do anything with that aspect. And Uma Musume is kind of the same. Uma Musume is a bit of a weird one because like they give you enough characters to work with, but I think with that game it's more you play it, and then if you've somehow beaten every run with every single character, and I say beaten with quotation marks, what you consider beaten is up to you. Getting a high ranking horse girl at the end or whatnot, or just beating it in general. You might run out of characters to do a thing with, but that game does add events and stories and new game modes, so you won't really get bored of that one. So, yeah, that'd be quite fun. I'm also lucky that like I don't really get attracted. Well, I don't have that desire when I see like an alternate costume of a character, like this is the swimsuit version, or this is the summer version, or the winter version, and I'm like, I think Blue Archive it did this to me where I was like, I don't really care about those because those if I'm playing the game story and I'm trying to immerse myself in it, or I'm playing it, my brain goes full OCD and it's like, I don't really want the swimsuit characters running around in this setting. It's silly. It's a weird thing in my brain. But I always just prefer the default outfits for most of the time, so I don't fall into that trap that other people do. And if people do, that's fine. More power to the people. I said Uma Musume has alternate costumes, and some of them are pretty good. Attack. So when it resets, the attack is set to false. So release focus. So when you hit attack, it will run that attack. That attack will set is attacking to true. And when it sets it to true, I can't spam attack, so I can't keep pressing it. That's more of a failsafe. Yeah, so I can't press it, and I can't click on anything because the icon is in the way. Man, there's gonna be a lot of tweening, and I don't. I mean, yeah, I guess. So much tweening. I don't want to do it right now. Let's, for this sake, go hide. This is temporary. I just want to get the basics of this setup. So if I hit attack, yeah, okay, it hides it. It's doing the attack, and what we're gonna do is when we hit attack, we're gonna set a speed, and then that speed will be, I don't know, so we'll set to 100. So what's going to happen is I'm going to hit attack, and it's going to work. There we go. But it's moving way too slow. I get it, but oh yeah, some people like on Twitter really get sucked in with the costumes and whatnot in Blue Archive and similar games. Yeah, I mean, I have friends who post about the new costumes and new outfits and stuff for other games, and I will react to it like I normally do by going, yeah, those are super cool. But I'm not the type of person. I think for me it's more with Blue Archive specifically, I just want to get every single student. I don't want to get their alternate versions as much. And so I look ahead and like, okay, I gotta get this student, that student, this student. And there's enough space because in between those are the alternate costume stuff. So that I'm allowed, that gives me leeway to save up and get those particular students. That's what I like about it. You're making the attack animation? No, I'm making the attack function. Animations and all that I'm probably going to do off stream. Though that said, for the attack animation specifically, we can close this now. We can open up the Yuga project. I have an attack animation, which is in here. This was an asset I paid for because I just needed something as a placeholder. Where is it? Man, it's still called test. Ah, here it is. A player attack animation. So I'm gonna do that basically. I'll probably reuse that for the other game. That's what what I'm gonna do for attack animations. Maybe clean it up, make it less detailed, so it matches the aesthetic of my game. Not saying my game isn't detailed, it's more some sprites could be too overly detailed. It doesn't match what I'm trying to go for in the theme and aesthetic. Yeah, so obviously that is going too slow. I mean, that's fine. We'll leave it at that because I need to test if it works. UI select. Hide the built-in actions a second. Yeah, there's an interact button. Okay, that's what I wanted to know. Oh yeah, that looks clean. Just a quick swipe with sparks is nice. Yeah, it's... I need to look up... I need to remember which asset it was, but it was on itch.io. It was like in a pack of different types of attacks, and I was like, oh, that looks like something I could use for my game. So I'll probably I'll make sure to credit that. And so what's going to happen, my idea is that when it gets here, I'm going to press it, it will disappear and I'll have it print in the corner. But what I'll actually do off stream is... So my idea is that when I'm on stream, I do like the main coding stuff, like the main focus on getting everything, functionality and whatnot working. I realized in the last few days of streaming this kind of thing, I do actually make progress in that aspect more, as opposed to procrastinating and leaving it off. And then an off stream, I will do the pixel art and clean up the code and the UI and all that. Because I think on last stream, I did like the most basic looking thing. And here, I cleaned up the UI so it looks like this. Then what will the attack function do? Like, you're doing a skill check for the player when they try to attack. They're gonna... So, what's gonna happen is... depends what this icon's gonna be, yeah. It might be a sort, like a knife or something. Or just some obvious indicator, and then I'll put like in a corner, press A. But when it goes into that bubble... Basically, when it attacks, the enemy moves into the center, a circle, a radius basically appears, and this will move across. And when I press A and it lands in the middle, it will deal bonus damage. If it misses, it will just do normal damage. As for how the stats and checks work, I think it's better to do a straightforward attack. I could think of all sorts of variations for this, like the bubble moves left and right, like as if the enemy is trying to move out the way when you try and attack them. Something like that, basically. Also, hello, Lil Anon. Welcome. Basically, I unintentionally am copying Undertale, but I guess Undertale is more specifically one attack, whereas my idea here is this will be instantiated instead of like being in here. And what I mean by instantiate means I'm going to load it in as opposed to having it all nested. Like, I'm going to have different types of attacks and they're all going to be all sorts of different types of these. I haven't decided what they'll be yet. Think of them as different types of rhythm games, essentially, because this is kind of like a rhythm game where you gotta hit the beat in the middle. And the idea is that that's what these powers are for. So if the player does an alternate attack, that's where these will be, and those will be more difficult and more unique. If the player wanted to do a normal attack, they'll do this like basic attack, and if they want to do anything more complex, I'm basically designing, I guess, less than 5-second mini games, essentially. I think that's what I'm gonna go for. I talked about it before, but the game Yik, a postmodern RPG, a game that got infamously dunked on by everyone, Mostly to do with the bad writing, but for me, when I watched gameplay of it, and I did actually try and play it for a bit, I realized the issue was the gameplay was too slow and repetitive. Basic. Did I say it yesterday? I said it the day before. Sorry, I had yesterday off. Yeah, in that game, they make you do a really long mini game for an attack, and it takes too long. And the problem with that is that it's fun the first time, it's not fun the 10th time. And so you want to build a system that doesn't involve having to basically make it fast. I think it's very common. It's not like I'm a secret genius that has solved the problem. I'm just my game designer brains on and it's looking at it and go, oh yeah, it's because the player's getting too bored and it's becoming a drag. I also need to think about how I'm going to deal with enemies in general. I'm not going to have random encounters. I think there's going to be a set amount that you can fight within each area, and they will be walking around. They might just stand there. They might do all sorts of things, and you can choose to just go up to them to attack, or they go to you. Yeah, okay, so we're going to now... How am I going to do this? Yeah, there's going to be a lot of cleaning when I'm done after this. Do I have a wave emoji? Frequently used this head bop thing on Twitch. Let me use that. There you go. Anyway, back at it. Right now I'm just trying to think what am I going to do in regards to this particular attack. I want to press A when that hits that bubble. That bubble needs to be grabbed. So the attack here will grab this area. We're just going to call it Area 2D because it's easier for me. No, let's call it Attack Bubble. And on ready var Attack Bubble. See, the reason I put the script on this particular attack is because when I do implement more attacks, I will have custom scripts for all of them. They will all use the same functions like attack, reset, etc. And then what I'm going to do from there is the custom functionality of how the attacks work happens in there. So I can call it outside of it every single time without worrying about, oh, what did I call the function for this particular attack? Every attack will be attack. Shared names, basically. Battle data attacking speed will be set to 100. On ready. No, it'll be var attacking equals false. Attacking equals true. The reason I need to do this here is because I need to call the function. Right. If input interact, yeah, that's actually the function I need to do anyway. Attacking equals false. If not attacking, let's do this. Speed equals 0. And attacking. Yeah, because we don't want to trigger this when it's attacking. We don't want to trigger that anytime. We want to trigger that specifically when the attack goes. Yeah, so there we go. When I pressed interact, it stopped. There, we made... That's my baby step so far. 1 hour in, we're getting there. And so now what I want to do is when it gets to that circle... How am I going to do this? We are going to create this. I'll need to create a sprite for this bubble because this bubble does not actually exist visibly. So if you do this and I do that, you won't see it because, yeah. That said, there, I just did notice something on accident. I think it reacts. Yeah, I need to... Yeah, because you can accidentally double tap. So what you want to do is... Yeah, because what happens... let me just see if I can actually cause this particular issue to happen. Basically, someone can accidentally spam the button and then do it. So what you want to do is that brief, like... I know how to explain it. Basically, when you hit attack, this should move down. Like these UI elements here, they will drop down when it goes into that, and then it will move. So what we'll do is we'll do an await, basically. It's this falls more in line with the feel than anything. So right now the game didn't feel for me. It's more of a visual indicator, basically. Like, I think Undertale does this too, where it doesn't let you... I was thinking of Undertale, my brain just went, oh, do I just like double tap whenever I attack an enemy? No, I don't. I attack, and then I wait until the icon hits in the middle. That's if you're doing like the genocide route, etc. And I think Deltarune had this as well, so there's a bit of a delay before the input can be activated. So you want there to be that... Basically, this needs to go down first, and then the player knows, oh, here's the icon, now I can press A. Yeah. So, yeah. Now to check that they're overlapped. Yeah, that's what I need to do. Thank you. My brain, like... It's so easy for my brain to go all over the place. So we're going to edit the layers here. We're going to have a layer called attack bubble. We'll call it attack area because if I do other types of attacks, it might not always be a bubble. It could be some weird... Ooh, I have an idea for one. Imagine like one attack and it's like multiple squares and it's going like this way, down, this way, this way, this way, this way, and you've got to hit the attacks in each of the squares to do extra bonus. Like, I think I'm gonna have fun doing that kind of thing. I'm excited now. I found potential with what I could do for types of attacks. That was a thing I was slightly worried about when I was doing this. Like, am I going to be accidentally creating a Undertale clone? Am I going to create a Earthbound clone? But I'm just like, no. Undertale and Deltarune specifically, they try to avoid the player from using attacks that often. Undertale more so because that's the theme of the game. In Deltarune, it's complicated. That without going into spoilers, but yeah. Here I'm just like, oh yeah, I could do all sorts of variations of attacks. That will be kind of fun. Especially if you're playing as a singular character. Which, I'll go on a slightly different tangent here. We talked about this on the notes. I don't know where my notes are. Let me just double check. Did I have notes? I did have notes, sorry, yeah. So that note's kind of pointless. The idea of the game is that, I think one aspect of the game is that there are four different boss characters. Let me open up the sprites. Were you there for the Monday stream? I asked because I showed a lot of like pixel art work, and I am happy to show some of it again, briefly. The question is, where did I put that stuff? Was it in here? I might have caught a bit of it. Yeah, no worries. It's okay. I was mostly just getting my point about, like, here are four different boss characters, and the idea of that. One gameplay idea I had of that is that you're supposed to defeat them and clear and close off their world, but you can also choose to spare them. And if you choose to close them, but basically, if you can choose to absorb them, is the idea. And each time you do, you gain a new party member. And so the idea, and this is the reason why I designed the UI to look like this. And then, yeah, basically, each one you absorb, you get a kind of a fake party member, is the idea. Yeah, okay, that's good. No worries if it's 4 a.m. I totally get that. But yeah, like the difficult and easy path, yeah, and that just came up while just randomly waffling on about the bosses. And so that's why there's empty space there. I had to consider that for the UI. And it would be more in purpose of building the actual dream game I want to make. I mean, this is sort of my dream game in its own way. But yeah, this will be, they'll be kind of fun. Based on you spare them or not, then you unlock the true ending. Yeah, basically. It shouldn't be an option when it comes to fighting enemies. I think that's why I like. I was studying. I was thinking, what should I put in the UI here? Attack, defend, spells, and run originally. And I was like, wait, what about the items? And then I thought, do you want to run away from every like enemy in your counter? And based on the story I'm writing for this game, the theme is not running away from things. So that would be kind of the point. But yeah, in terms of how the endings are written, I have an image in my head of how the ending is. It's more getting to that point and rewarding the player for it. So yeah. Yeah, we were doing this, weren't we? Area bubble. Attack area. And this thing, oh, this thing doesn't even have, okay, I'm being dumb. Yeah, we'll create an area 2D. This will be attack point. Now we can call this attack point, and we'll call this sprite, whatever. This doesn't matter. This will be changed anyway. And then add a collision here. Well, it could be a circle. Yeah, of course it can be a circle, won't it? Yeah, we'll do it that way for now. I'll think about how I want to visually show it when I get around to it. Let me just double check if that's working. I don't think changing it to an area 2D matters. Yeah, you can see that small delay actually. Let's change that to 5. Because I'm trying to picture the transitions from all the menu items popping down the screen. So just imagine those two things on the bottom drop. And now this thing can now collide with that. This doesn't need a layer itself because it doesn't need to be checked. That one does. Masking is basically what it's detecting, and layer is the layer it's currently on. And obviously this doesn't need to be checked anyway. That it just needs to find it. But that's fine. And now we got okay, so how am I gonna do this one? I'm just staring at the ceiling and closing my eyes to think. Also, if you want to sleep, that's totally fine with me. I will not blame you. We're close. Just need to. There are two ways I could do it, which is when the thing detects it, it sends off a signal. Yeah, we'll do it that way. Basically, there is a signal here that says when area entered and when area exited. And what we'll do is area entered into attack slash, and area exited attack slash. And what we want it to do now, this is kind of cool. That's why I like Godot, is because these custom signals are just, well, not custom. These signals that it comes pre-packaged with is so nice. It cuts a lot of hassle. Basically, we'll print in area, and then we'll print again when it goes out of the area. And what I'm going to do, out area, is check that. The printing should appear just here. In area, out area. There we go. And so now we got that in mind, we're going to add a var called in area equals false. In area equals false. Equals true, sorry. And then in area equals false. And so when it's in the area and I press it, if in area print bonus damage, and then we can just do an else print normal damage, because that's my idea, is that I don't want players to so in my brain, if a player just miss slightly, they still do some kind of damage. Because partly because I'm picturing speedrunning, my speedrunning brain's on. But at the end of the day, the bonus damage is just kind of like a reward. A player who might not be good at doing the rhythm game should still be able to beat the game as normal damage. So let's see if we can get this working. Attack. Normal damage. Of course, nothing happens because I bonus damage. And I can't press it again. That's cool. Because I made sure to stop the attack when it does. He's cooking. I am. Well, actually, I had a fish pie before the stream. A fish pie that was 10 days past its expiration date. It was a small ready-made fish pie, and it was sealed, so I think it's okay. But if I get sick tomorrow, I will let you know. I'm getting tired. The thing is, I'm making a lot more progress than I expected. Seven, 8. Oh, wow, I've got like an hour still. That's cool. I was expecting this to take a bit longer, but I guess I can also. And then. Yeah, so this is where damage calculation and whatnot would occur. The problem is we haven't implemented or integrated any form of like health or stats for the enemy. That's just a blank sprite just staring at me. It doesn't do anything. And I think, if I remember correctly, this thing had passed an enemy ID. Right, yeah, there's an enemy ID. And it passes that. I'm not sure what the self part is being passed through for. Let me just double check. So in battle data, enemy object. Oh, right, yeah, so it deletes the overworld object. We should call that overworld. Overworld enemy object. And then, yeah, the enemy will be set to that. And then when it's defeated, it will delete it. This may change later down the line because, like, if I want to have multiple enemies, we can't just assign one enemy to the battle. We have to, like, probably use an array of some kind. It's probably the better to create as an array. What kind of fish? No. Let me double check. Oh, fish pie. It was a fish pie. No, go away. Sorry. Notifications from Aldi's. Fish pie. Maybe pollock. Actually, oh wait, I got the fucking thing over here. Let me go grab it. You are correct. It is pollock. Hopefully that doesn't food poison me. I've been food poisoned twice in the last month. Yeah, it's not a good sign. One I totally own. The second, not really sure what caused it. Oh. Nah, it'll be fine. I think it will be fine. It was sealed, so it should be fine. I won't eat something unless it was like genuinely like it smelled bad or it looked awful. It should be fine. Maybe. I'm thinking about it. I don't want to jinx it because I know the food poisoning usually just happens after the day, not during the day. I got food poisoning from noodles. I was talking to a friend about this because these were like ready-made noodles in a pot, and I had a box of them downstairs, and I completely forgot about them. And they were they were outdated by a few months, and I was like, okay, but they're like rock solid noodles with seasoning. What goes off here? And I think it's because those ones came with sesame oil. And I think that oil went off. Everything else was fine, from what I can tell, because it was dried food. So, I don't know. I forgot about it because I was eating normally. But we'll see. We'll see. um. So, I'm gonna do this with the keyboard now. Yeah, okay, the keyboard works. I always forget I need to do keyboard controls. That's the only other problem with the card game project, was that when I did this card game project, I did it entirely from mouse. And this game has no... Yeah, this game has no, like, controller functionality. And yeah, I would have to redo this entire game. That's not for a lot of reasons. Enemy ID. An enemy ID will get... Let me check. Globals. Alright, we're gonna create a new one. Dialogue test. That's not what I'm looking for. Dialogue. See. Alright, scenes. Alright, I guess I just don't have... Right, yeah, okay. So an old problem I had with myself is that I used to think that global functions required it to be in a scene, not a script. So I would create a folder in the scenes folder called global scenes, and then I would attach the script to a random node. And that's why I was looking in there. What are we gonna call this? I almost typed in fish. We're not calling it fish. Enemy database. So this one I actually do need... Oh, maybe I do need a Magician's Thief open for this one. And what we'll be doing is a dictionary. Well, actually, no, Magician Thief, the card game that I just closed. This should have the data ID. God damn, stop yawning me. Why am I sleepy? It's only 8 o'clock, half 8. I'll probably stop at 9, realistically. This actually has went successfully well in terms of like how I envisioned me problem solving and figuring out. Only to be like, oh yeah, I'm not like a complete dumbass. I know how it works. Yeah, we'll just copy this. There we go. And then we won't call it player decks. We'll just call it 1. I don't need to do it by that. Enemy name. We don't need type. We're just gonna say HP, and this HP will be, I don't know, 10. There you go. We've got an enemy with HP. There'll be other things like attack, which is, I don't know, 10. Like, I don't know yet because I haven't done the maths yet. So that's the benefit. Like, I'm gonna talk about an aspect of Toby Fox that I really like that most people don't seem to want to bring up, is the fact that and it really sticks out to me in Deltarune. But both Undertale Undertale's genocide route, it's like a thing I don't see people talk about much or talk about as often is the fact that that's a fixed. It's a trick progression system, as in your leveling up doesn't. There's you can't grind until you become invincible. Basically, is what I'm saying. Like there aren't random enemies that you can farm. And when there are, there's a limitation to how many of those you kill. Deltarune also does this. Though Deltarune doesn't have experience. Oh, does Deltarune have experience? No, it does not. It uses its stuff based on items and equipment that you have at the time, and that's the form of progress. Undertale, I think, is a better example because the genocide route, obviously, the true meaning behind leveling up and all that is a spoiler thing, but I won't go into. But basically, that game is like a fake RPG. It tricks you into thinking you're playing an RPG. Sorry, that's a very incorrect way of wording that. Sorry, it is still an RPG, but it's not the RPG that I think most people, at least myself, assumed it was going to be when you start killing monsters. I mean, obviously I did the pacifist route, so I just watched people do the genocide route, but like, yeah, you don't realize that that's a fixed number thing until after a certain time. So that's why I think I'm not going to have random enemy spawns. Or I make the leveling up system just be the same as Deltarune's, because I think that is an ideal way of dealing with that problem. And so that means the enemies that you encounter as you progress will only be harder based on whether or not you bought items or equipment to upgrade your character just enough. I've never finished Undertale. That's fair. Totally worth doing, I guess, for the true pacifist route. And then that's about it, really. Genocide route if you want to do the Sans fight. Yeah, there's no. I think it still holds up. Also, hello, Michael. I'm waving. How are you on this fine evening? I am making game dev progress. So battle data. So just for now, we're gonna do like a var enemy HP. I just have a problem with overexposure. That's fair. I mean, I didn't play Undertale until like a year after it came out. And all the overwhelming hype and whatnot changes your opinion on a thing. So I get that. My god, it's Uncle. That's a good pun. Damn it. I probably am just tired. I always forget that even though I went to the office all day and it's like a few minutes away from where I live, being in the office does physically exhaust me. That's probably why I don't know how I do streams. Probably because I'm not playing a game. That was probably the other thing. We'll say temp HP equals 0. And so when the enemy passes that, we go temp HP equals... We could probably do like free enemies, so we could just call free variables at a later point. Because I'm not going to have a screen of like 100 different enemies. Office visit sucks. True. Yeah. It's weird. My office is a quiet office, so when like the main people are out, there are no one really talking for most of the day. I had one interaction today, and that was towards the end of the day, and it was like, "Hey, could you explain why thing is happening in this code. And then I was like, oh, I'll let you know. And then I forget I have like 10 years of web experience, so I always forget until after it happens that I solve things almost way too fast. So I said, oh, I'll let you know tomorrow. And then like within 3 minutes, I figured out what the problem was and was like, oh yeah, this is why. I'll write up an email and go into detail about it. Like, I gotta give myself more credit. 10 years of web dev experience. And now I have 3 to 4 years of game dev experience, but I don't think that's anywhere near enough to... Well, I've got good enough to do this, so maybe that's a good sign. I don't know. Let's see. You know, on a random tangent, I have been drinking nothing but water for the last couple of months. I think part of it is because it saves me money, and I did buy a Switch too, so I'm like budgeting hard, but also because it's healthier, and I feel quite nice about it. I also cut down snacking. So I'm quite proud of myself lately in that regards. Oh right, let's comment that out. I was trying to think why isn't this working? My brain was like, yeah, okay. Game scripts, global, enemy database. We need to add this to the global, so now I can call that anytime. So now we can do that's enemy database dot. Oh, did I call it player decks? Oh, list of enemies. And I'll probably do one for bosses, but I think bosses will be a bit more scripted of an event as opposed to that. Also, I guess another office tangent. We were in like the office a few weeks back, and there was like only 3 of us in towards the end of the day, and I think we all just got up and said, "Well, you know what? Let's just go home early." Well, I say that. I say like 5 minutes earlier than usual, but you know, it was nice to just finish up, especially on a weekend kind of day. Attack temp. So enemy database, list of enemies. We'll just say, well, we don't want to call it list. We'll just call it that so it's easier for me to understand. And then we call it by the ID, the enemy ID. That, and then... How do I do this? Let me just double check how I call the player deck. How am I calling the database? Oh, it's in the decks. The deck code. This was a fun little project. Alright, okay, that's how it works. It's been a while. I say it's been a while. It's been less than a month. And then we just go. I think it was just HP. What we'll do is we'll print just so that check if that works. So when the battle starts, in the corner it should return 10. Yeah, it does return 10. So the HP is now set. Cool. We have a temporary HP. And that's in the battle data, but when the attack slash occurs, we'll just say attack equals, wait. Right. So what we'll do is we're going to create we'll just create the variable in here, var damage. And then when it attacks, if it's in here, damage equals six. And here, damage will equal 5. Now we'll say 4, and then this one will be 5. Well, no, to call it 6. So if you want to beat that enemy, you have to attack them. They have 10 HP. Or 8. Yeah, okay, whatever. It takes 3 hits to take out the enemy. And here it takes 2. And then if we do battle data dot temp HP, I think. Let me just close all this. Yeah, temp HP. And then we'll do minus equal minus damage. And then we won't do this instantly. We want to wait, because picture this: when the attack lands, you want a little pop up with the damage counter, basically. So you want to go like brief second for that attack to do its little animation, swipe animation, and then the enemy shakes, and then the pop-up attack damage will appear. And then when that happens, actually you could do this already by default. It does the damage, then it does the pop-up. We'll say pop-up damage here, and then we'll do the check here. If temp damage, I have code for this because I always get my greater than or equal than. I get those wrong every single time, and I can't trust myself. Shield, it would be in card manager. If enemy shield is less than 0. Okay, so yeah, less or equal than 0. Less or equal than 0. Print enemy defeated. Else print enemy lives. All right. Enemy lives. Yeah, there we go. It works. And now, just because I want to be curious, let's change that to 60 and 40. The enemy has a HP of 10, so enemy defeated. So we have the functionality that defeats and kills the enemy. The problem, and I'll probably save this for another stream, is that I need to think about what the enemy is going to do. Or do I just have the enemy deal damage normally? I think I'm going to have the enemy damage normally, and a lot of the focus comes from the attack specifically. But that seems kind of boring, doesn't it? Like, if I think about memorable boss fights, I think memorable boss fights are the way you interact with the boss as opposed to just number crunching. The bosses that come to mind in an RPG or JRPG specifically in my brain are ones that, and that's to say that doesn't mean it's a bad boss. It's just, for me personally, bosses I like to remember are either based on, well, their music and their theme, or how that fight went down. And I kind of want to do a dodge system, so Nice, thank you. We got it. We got there. We got there. We got the thing working, basically. Because what I can now do is, if the enemy is defeated, I could quite literally end the battle, basically, if I wanted to. Because we have that sorted here in battle data. I created that function so when the end battle occurs, there's a few other things like I need to do, like well, actually no, I don't need to do any of that. I was gonna say I need to reset the positioning and all that kind of stuff, and I'm like, no, I do not need to, because if the idea is that I instantiate, aka just loading it, in case people don't know, you know when in Magician's Thief, when the character fires his gun, the bullet that appears, that bullet, there isn't like 40 different like there isn't like a finite amount of like bullets the player has. I'm basically grabbing that scene, which is the bullet scene, and loading it and placing it where the player is, and then the movement and all that is handled in the bullet script by itself and how it interacts with the world. That's what I mean by instantiate. And so the attacks here are all going to be instantiated. So once this ends, we delete it. And when we delete it, it's not touched until the next time you attack, and then it moves on to the enemy's turn. So that makes it my job easier than having to reposition everything each time. And then when the enemy's turn ends over, we return control to the player. Straightforward, I like that. I think the excitement and what I might do is like, I won't be doing frequent game dev streams all the time, but personally I am enjoying these a lot more than any other stream I've done. Partly because this actually benefits and contributes towards my dream of making a game. Streaming I enjoy. I should clarify. I do enjoy streaming. It's a lot of fun. I always have those overwhelming emotions, like you should be working on something, or we've done this song and dance before, basically. So I'm quite happy now that we've made progress, because if I had done a basic battle system, I think it would be kind of straightforward. I'm trying to think how I'll think about the dodge system and like how am I gonna play around with ideas. I'm gonna look up a lot of games and see how their dodge systems work. Oh, it comes across how much you enjoy game dev. Thank you. That means a lot to hear. Yeah, I feel very passionate talking about. I know people have asked me to do a game dev stream way back in the day, and I was hesitant. I think partly because I just didn't feel confident enough showing my code, or yet alone talking as I game dev. But game dev streams, at least the first 3 so far, I've naturally started talking. Like, it's just how my brain works normally. So I feel like I'm doing what I do, but my thoughts are out loud. I mean, I still talk to myself when I'm off stream, just so I can, like, hear what the hell I'm saying. But thank you. That meant a lot to hear. Enemy defeated. We can do an await and then end it there. But yeah, I think I'll sort out stuff like that. Like, I think what these streams will be is that I make a bunch of mini games. Well, a bunch of these types of things, basically. The attack functionality. Create a whole bunch of different types of attacks, and then off stream I'll be doing the pixel art and putting together all the assets and cleaning up all the code and reorganizing the approach. Like the instantiate thing here. I'm wondering if I should do it now. Yeah, we could try it, see what happens. We'll end battle. We'll do when... Yeah, because here I'll be battle data dot end battle, and then when we end the battle, it will just end. There we go. And then that battle's over. It's gone now. But yeah, we'll put it here because yeah, once I can't approach the enemy attack yet because I don't know how to do it, or I don't have a vision for how I want to approach it. I'm very excited that in this stream I was able to finally figure out a way to make attacks fun, or at least the ideas in my head. Like I was saying earlier, you could have like multiple circles and you can spam and do different types of attacks. I guess basically like I was thinking like my favorite RPG series in general is Mario and Luigi, and I always really liked the combat in that because it requires you to be more interactive with what's happening. And more specifically, I think about the shell attack. So the idea in Mario and Luigi is when Mario and Luigi attacks with a shell, they hit it with a hammer, I think, and then it bounces back to the other brother, and then the other brother, the player, specifically has to press A in time to bounce the attack again to the enemy. So it's kind of like a... Yeah, it's basically a parry back and forth kind of thing. And it rewards the player by just kind of... How do I describe it? That's such a good example I just brought up, because now I'm thinking about how I want to do that. Like, that simple idea where Mario hits the... Let me see if I can get a gif of it. Mario, Luigi, shell attack. GIF. That one's kind of a fun one. I don't think my games are going to be that interactive. Let's save that to the desktop and then load it in to show what I mean. I think it's... Talking about it is kind of fun. Genuinely, like, my brain is just on fire right now. This loops, so it crashes whatever this GIF is supposed to be talking about. But yeah, whenever you attack, it bounces back to the other brother, and then you can press A to do an additional attack. And this image, this GIF is not a good example of it, but basically the idea was that like each time you did it, it got faster and faster. So there's like it becomes like a sort of mini game unintentionally where it rewards the player for dealing bonus damage. Anyway, I like those games a lot, and the dodge system in that is basically enemy charges at Mario or Luigi, and you press jump to jump in time to dodge it. And if you jump perfectly, you land on the enemy's head and deal damage. So it's kind of like another reward for dodging is that you can injure the enemy in return. There's so many cool ideas with that game. Sometimes rubber ducking is a great way to get new ideas, and streams are basically that. That's true. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I want to say this is a bit of a scuffed stream to some extent, but this is just kind of how I do things in general. I think the bonus about doing this type of stream is that now I've got a template. Off stream, I can clean it up and fix it up, and then the next stream after that, I can focus on more programming and getting the finer stuff done. So, yeah. We got that working. This needs to be changed in general, but we'll add an extra await here, because when the enemy dies, etc. Actually, what we need to do is like a text box here saying your reward, etc. Like you get money for it, or EXP. And then when you click out of that, it sends off a signal to end the game. But in this example, we'll just leave that there for now, because the dialogue manager lets you do this. It lets you can end a cutscene, but I can call a specific function as long as it's a global function. Oh wait, I can't do that. No, I can do it. I can do it. I know how to do it. But yeah, that kind of stuff is. Oh yeah, I forgot there's like a 3D scene. I don't know how to do any 3D. Let me see if I can click around. I could probably do 3D. I'm just finding that stuff scary. If you spend all your time doing 2D games, 3D games are another thing. Blender scares me. I used to do work on Blender. I did mods for games for fun. I wasn't very good at Blender though. But I met some really good friends because of it, so I don't know. I did 3D in university. 3 different modules. One was using Maya 3D. In fact, none of them involved Blender. Yeah. Sorry, my brain was trying to think back on that. Basically I was trying to think, did I do any Blender at university? And no, we did not. I don't know why. We did Maya 3D probably because the university was paying for that thing, and we had to use that. Maya 3D is fine. I didn't have an issue with that. Blender. No, I did work on Unity as well. So I think the university course. We're gonna wrap up here, I think. Anyway, I've done my goals. So, but like I'm gonna just go off a bit. Maya is okay. I think it's just that you don't want to be paying thousands of pounds for a program like that when Blender exists today. But I assume because the university was paying it and it was tools that companies used, they wanted us to use that. And we had to make a planetarium, basically. That was fun. Unis get a big discount. Yeah, if you're a student, you get it for free, basically. I did a bit of 3ds Max. I think that's what it's called. 3ds Max is that the animation program? Because I did work on. Whoops, dropped something. Did my mic? Okay, that's fine. Dropped the mic. Yeah, Maya 3D was free for students. And 3ds Max, I don't remember if that's like the animation program, but we did work on an animation project by the same company that made Maya, and that was like, learning animation was kind of easy, to be honest. That was not difficult, like doing basic walk animations and whatnot. That was kind of fun. They gave us like a 3D man to move around, and the goal was to just make him walk from one point to the other. But obviously it was animation, so it wasn't like an in-game thing. Whereas like, you know, in-game physics would scare me, though I guess it would just be like an invisible like tube moving around. Yeah, so that was a thing. We worked on a... I'm trying to remember this. I don't know what it's called. It was stupid. Genuinely stupid. I remember it because it was my chicken and bacon. In hindsight, this is probably why I'm not allowed caffeine anymore. For my heart's sake. But I used to like work on a uni project where it was like, it was a French video game program, and we had to make a character walk up to a raft, attach to the raft, and make him sail down some water. And I think they made us use it because it was a program that used like a spider diagram connections for programs, so we didn't actually have to code exactly. And I think they also made us do it because no one could find any documentation of the damn thing. Anyway, no one in our class did work on that for like ages. We were like, well, this is fucking ridiculous. We've got other things we need to finish. So we left it until the last minute, and then we spent like the last 2 weeks trying to make that all work. And it took ages. And I remember specifically going to bed at 3 a.m. and waking up at 6 a.m. and going back to uni. Oh wait, no, so I'd finish uni, I'd come back at 6 p.m. I would work until midnight or 3 a.m., sleep, wake up at 6 a.m., and then go back to uni and rinse and repeat. And we did that for 2 whole weeks, and the only thing I ate and drank during that whole time was chicken and bacon sandwich with a Monster Energy drink. And I think about that a lot because I did it in time, and when I went to submit it and I fell asleep for 18 hours, and I accidentally missed the like deadline for another piece of coursework that I was supposed to upload, and I slept through that. And thankfully I told the teacher that the system wasn't working. I was like, oh, it's not working, I don't know why. I thought I submitted it but I didn't. And then the teacher was cool with it, and he said, well, it's because it's the first year, it's fine, but if it happened in the second year, it'd be a problem. But yeah, also, have a good sleep, Cole. Sorry, I'm keeping you up. I'm about to wrap up as well, so I hope you can get some sleep. Damn, that really is a student life. Trust me, I'll never do that again. That incident isn't the reason why I don't drink caffeine anymore, but it's definitely the reason I don't drink energy drinks ever. I can't. It isn't good for me. I was very young. I was in my early 20s. And that, to me, is the only reason I survived that. If I did that today, I will most certainly die. For all sorts of complications. That's also why I don't eat chicken and bacon sandwich anymore. We had our boost our way. I can't stand energy drinks anymore. Same. Yeah, I get... You feel me there? I think about that story a lot. I don't know if I told that story before. I think I have. It's one of the things I think back on a lot. I remember doing a week straight of all-nighters to finish an end-of-year project and sleeping from Friday night through to Sunday. Oh, hot damn. That... I wish I could sleep for long periods of time. I can't do that anymore. I don't know. I think I can sleep 8 hours, and I'll maybe I could try. I should try and sleep in on Friday morning. No way, I said I was gonna do a stream on that. But yeah, end of year projects, man, that's that shit. Part of me's like, I wish I went back in. I wish I could go back into learning game dev as like a course, but I'd only do that if I like. I know this sounds weird, but if I ever made a successful game and I'm able to do whatever I want, I'd probably go back into studying for fun and do the course I wanted to do, which was game dev. But I chose to do a course that was more computer general focus, so it was mostly geared towards web development more than anything. Though it did have all that game dev stuff and other projects. I enjoyed that. I had to think, what other projects? Oh right, we had a teacher who was obsessed with Flash. And he was very adamant that Flash was going to stick around in the long run. As we know, Flash is dead. Well, it's kind of still here, but it's not the future that the teacher thought, and so that was a wasted module. I didn't say it was entire. Well, it was. I'll never use Flash animation in my life ever. At least the things you do in there can be applied in other things to some extent, maybe. I don't know, I'm reaching. And there was a game project. I did do a game. I did make a game in uni. It was because we had a Unity project. Oh my god. Hello, Zenith. Let's go Theo stream. You're near the end of my stream. I was game deving. Welcome. Sorry, I was a bit surprised. Surprised these people are turning up to my streams. Yeah, no, the game dev project I worked on, like, that was, I genuinely enjoyed that. It was like we had to make a first-person game, and it was, you were trapped on an island, and you had to collect, like, a flashlight, a bucket, a few other things. And the task was kind of fun because it was like, we did it in Unity, and we had to create a skybox, and a mini-map, and the way I did the mini-map was that I applied a camera on top of the player, and there was like a layer which showed and hid the icons. So it was two cameras, the mini-map camera and the POV camera. Sadly couldn't tune in earlier, but your streams have always been very interesting and very nostalgic. Thank you. Well, I'll be doing a morning stream on Friday because I got a day off and I can do the morning then. So it won't be my usual time. It'd be like 10 plus hours. So more people might be able to turn up to that one. I haven't decided what I'll do on that yet. I think it's just going to be a chill vibe. I do all sorts of random stuff stream. Maybe my Musume stream actually. But I'm glad you're enjoying it. I literally turned the stream on, I'm not joking, thinking no one was gonna turn up. Because I was just like, I did it like, 5 minutes before the stream. It's like, no, I did it an hour before, but I forgot to post the links. So I was like, I'm gonna be doing a game dev thing. I'm just gonna be talking to myself and working on the project. And then like an hour in, I actually solved all the problems I wanted, or hit my goals. Let me grab my notes here. Let me walk around. I got a pulls menu, which I will actually need to. I'm gonna make some notes here. So the pulls menu, inside menu. So when I click on stats or something, you know, that should go into this menu here, and then you can select the thing from there and then go back. And same with the other stuff. And then obviously the cutscene where dialogue works. And this fires off cutscene where you can do all sorts of things. A camera shake. The camera follows the player. Running animation. Updated sprites for the character. And then last but not least, we started the enemy stuff. So we got this little like nice little cute UI. And then when we hit attack, we can land the attack and it ends the battle. Yeah. But yeah, we'll wrap up the stream now. It was really nice to listen to you while lurking. So I could do some work and stuff. Really helped me focus and calm my mind. That's good to hear. I'll do more of these because it feels like I'm working alongside other people. Very Undertale inspired UI. Yeah, I'm creating an RPG horror like type of game. Or rather inspired by those types of games. And I'm trying at the moment to come up with combat ideas. So I will quickly go over the idea here is that the attack here will do like here's a point, it goes here. If you hit the circle, it does some bonus damage. If it hits outside, it does normal damage. But while I was doing this, I realized I can create all sorts of like attack mini games. So you can have multiple bubbles, and then the pointer moves to different points, and you have to hit them. Basically, a rhythm game attack system. But yeah, that I'll be doing more streams where I talk about that. Yeah, thank you for the stream. Well, thank you for popping by. Sounds super cool. Thank you. I'll go into more of it in future game dev stream. Cool. Right. You'll have a good one. We'll wrap it up there. Oh, that was a lot of fun. Thank you. Almost hit stop streaming without my goodbyes. You'll have a lovely morning, day, afternoon, evening, and night, wherever and whenever you may be. And I will see you probably tomorrow. If not, definitely let me know, and I will. Sorry, I'm very tired. My brain just like farted then. Yes. Good night. I'm sorry. I'm not. I promise I'm not being super like weird. I just got like a headache kicking right as I said the stream ends. So that was a good sign. Right, take care, and we'll catch up then. Bye bye.